Good evening and welcome to News Watch. It is the 10th of November 2020 and we're coming to you live from 28 Valley Road, Nairobi City with the latest news updates. My name is Tonny Omondi and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's begin with our top story tonight. Now, the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, has seconded sentiments echoed by its Uasin Gishu branch chapter that Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha should apologize over his remarks in Langa's primary school during a desk distribution exercise last week. Magoha is said to have insulted Uasin Gishu County Director of Education Gitonga Mbaka after disagreement over the tidiness of the Langa's school. The union's national chair, Omboko Milemba, has pointed an accusing finger at the CS for intimidating teachers and insulting the official. Now, the CS has come under intense pressure from the teacher unions to apologize over his remarks. Now, Grace Ongoi begins our bulletin with this report.
You are talking about the report. I'm talking about what is here on the ground.
The Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha is yet to apologize to Uasin Gishu County Director of Education Gitonga Mbaka even after KUPPET Uasin Gishu branch asked him to apologize on Monday, 10th November. The union's national branch based in Nairobi has come out to affirm their disappointment over the CS's conduct in Eldoret last week. The union's national branch chair, Omboko Milemba, expressing his dissatisfaction over Magoha's misdeed, says the move by the CS has lowered the morale of teachers across the country and only a public apology will suffice.
You will agree with me and Kenya will agree with me in totality that his actions is not a good example as a mentor in the education sector, and only a public apology would remedy the damage that is done to the sector.
The aggrieved chair pointed out that insulting the county director for education and asking teachers to collect litter is an intimidation move which contravenes Kenya's national goals for education, and he further pointed out that teachers in the country have a regulatory body, the Teacher Service Commission, in charge of discipline in the case of disciplinary issues.
Teachers in Kenya are managed by the Teacher Service Commission. And the Teacher Service Commission has a very elaborate mechanism and structure on how to discipline its teachers and how to manage them. We don't expect that the minister would go overboard to try and start managing teachers in their stations. He should leave management of teachers to the Teacher Service Commission, which has the professionalism and the mechanism of handling teachers' matters.
Speaking on the matter of COVID-19 cases rising in schools and what should be done, Milemba has called on the Education Ministry to put more effort in protecting learners and teachers alike by ensuring they are afforded with face masks.
Wanahitaji zile PPEs, wanahitaji zile masks wanafunzi na wao wenyewe, na sababu serikali haijapeana pesa katika mashule ili hizi vitu ziweze kununuliwa. Na maybe umeniambia swala nzuri. Haya ndio mambo ambayo Profesa Magoha angekuwa hapa Nairobi akishughulikia. Ashughulikie kwamba hizo shule ambazo anatembelea, je, wanafunzi wana mask? Na ni jukumu la serikali kutoa hizo mask.
Grace Ongoi, Hope TV News Watch.
Moving on, governors have concluded their retreat in Naivasha that largely touched on the Building Bridges Initiative, BBI, and have unanimously agreed that the report be amended to involve crucial issues that might have been left out. Among other issues, governors want the BBI amended to involve governance, disbursement of funds to counties, elections, independent commissions, security, pension, and criminal liability. Dickens Luvanda brings us this report.
It may now force President Uhuru Kenyatta and his former political nemesis Raila Odinga to go back to the drawing board to review the proposals in the Building Bridges Initiative, BBI. This is after governors called for the amendment of the document, which was recently unveiled at the Bomas of Kenya, to include crucial proposals fronted by the county bosses.
We will not tire in reminding you this,
After a 2-day deliberations meeting in Naivasha, Nakuru County, largely touching on the BBI, governors have resolved that BBI be amended so as to improve the BBI draft.
Following consultation held by the Council of Governors on BBI, we propose.
In terms of governance, governors want the Senate be strengthened by ensuring that it has veto powers on all bills so as to enhance governance. The position of deputy ministers be introduced and should be picked from Parliament. Governors want the summit, the National Council for County Legislators, the Council of County Governors, be entrenched in the Constitution. This including the regional economic blocks.
National Treasury be established as an independent institution to serve both levels of government. 2 IFMIS systems should be adopted, one for national government and another for the county government.
On matters of elections, governors want the BBI amended so as to devolve the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission (IBC) to all the 47 counties. Deputy governors should remain as running mates to the county governors and should be of either gender. This opposing a proposal to have a member of the opposite gender as running mates in the gubernatorial race. They have maintained that women should be given a chance to compete with their male counterparts on an equal platform.
There is a misconception that women cannot fight it on their own. That is a very, very big misconception. We have had in this country very, very powerful women who have fought and succeeded in obtaining various seats.
It's very difficult to get opposite gender because they do not have strong women on the ground as they are men.
Governors are also proposing the establishment of a pension fund for governors, deputy governors, speakers of the county assembly and members of county assemblies, as well as all other county state officers. On disbursement of funds to the devolved units, the county bosses are pushing for a timely release of funds, capping it at within 14 days after the passage of the Division of Revenue Act. They are proposing that in addition to the 35% of all the monies held by parastatals in national government, departments performing devolved functions be transferred to counties, and that county governments should ensure that not less than 10% of the total budget is allocated to agriculture, livestock and fisheries function, and that not less than 30% of the total budget is allocated to the health function and 2.5% to the youth function.
Our debate has been how to strengthen devolution.
Finally, the county chiefs are also of the decision that county governments be involved in security matters in both the national and county level in the National Security Advisory Council, where they will implement the county policing authority.
We have already been in consultation with the 2 principals. This report will be submitted to them tomorrow. One of the principals, we had a virtual meeting with him when we were in the room, so this issue has already been solved.
Deacon Sulvanda, Hope TV News Watch.
President Uhuru Kenyatta has reminded public servants to focus on serving wananchi and avoid creating an unnecessary bottlenecks that slow down service delivery in the country. The head of state who spoke in Nairobi County, where he commissioned the Kenya Railways transit shed and container freight station, reiterated that public servants are appointed to give service and not to be served. Melissa Dore reports.
The new light cargo handling facility was constructed as part of ongoing government efforts to enhance the ease of doing business in the country, especially for small-scale traders.
Tukiwa tumekuja kuanzisha hii shed mpya ambaye imefanywa hapa na Kenya Railways wakiungana pamoja na KRA, na pia siwezi nisahau NMS ambao wametusaidia huku kuweka lami na mambo yale mengine ambayo tuyaona hapa. Na hii shughuli tulianzisha kwa sababu ya kusaidia wananchi na wafanyabiashara wetu wadogo. Ukiwa wewe ni mfanyabiashara Nakuru, hakuna kusema ati unatembea mpaka Nairobi. Reli itakuletea mizigo yako Nakuru, ubebee hapo, uendelee na biashara yako hapo.
Speaking to traders during the launch, the president said the government is continuously reviewing its processes to ensure all Kenyans are served fairly and equally. The head of state directed the Kenya Bureau of Standards to levy all businesses a uniform charge on imported goods, irrespective of their sizes. Once again, the president asked leaders to stop unnecessary politics and urged them to expend their energies to serve Kenyans.
Vile imesemwa hapa, tulikutana na tukaongea. Na tukasema ya kwamba hatutaki tuwe na vita kila siku ambaye inakuwa politicized for nothing. Vita ambaye haina mbele ama haina nyuma. Tutafute njia ambao Wakenya wataweza kufanya biashara zao kwa njia rahisi bila kusumbuliwa.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary Tonny said the launch of the container freight station will reduce the cost of doing business for traders by enabling them to access their goods in Nairobi instead of traveling all the way to Mombasa, as has been the norm. To reduce the bureaucracy and lower the cost of handling imported goods, CS Yatani said traders will access their imported goods at the facility without the intervention of clearing agents and other intermediaries. He said the National Treasury has gazetted all import and export cargo consolidators, an initiative that has not only enhanced efficiency but also boosted the war against contraband and counterfeit goods. Representatives of the traders, Ben Mutahi and Anyo Kabi, expressed their gratitude to the president, saying the new initiative will help in expanding their businesses. Reporting for Hope TV News Watch, I'm Melissa Odwar.
Meanwhile, President Uhuru Kenyatta is on Thursday this week expected to deliver this year's State of the Nation address in a joint parliamentary sitting. The address was meant to happen between April and June but was postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Our reporter Alice Diana spoke to a section of Kenyans on their expectations ahead of the president's address.
Following the current happenings in the country, Kenyans will be waiting to hear what President Uhuru Kenyatta has for them during his address to the nation this Thursday. In last year's State of the Nation address, President Kenyatta broke down a number of issues from the Big Four agenda to the economy, the BBI, and what they intended to do in matters development. Kenyatta's address this year will come at a time the country is facing serious economic hurdles brought about by the coronavirus pandemic. A section of Kenyans feel that the president's address should focus mostly on how to combat the deadly virus that has disrupted many activities not only in the country but also across the borders.
The president should inspire hope and confidence to the members of the public that we are going to be past this pandemic. And I hope he'll try to make sure that the people know that it begins with them and after some time we'll be over this pandemic.
I want him to address the rising numbers of COVID-19. I think the numbers are alarming right now and there's need for immediate intervention, both from the healthcare system to the common mwananchi. There's need to strengthen the preventive measures and the guidelines in place that have been put by the Ministry of Health. So basically, I expect the government to strengthen measures. I'm not comfortable with the numbers.
COVID-19 has negatively impacted the Kenyan economy as seen in the performance of the financial markets, disruption of global supply chains, volatility of the Kenyan currency, reduction in diaspora remittances, and reversal of prior monetary and fiscal policies. The disruption of the country's economy has also caught the attention of Kenyans, and a section of them are hoping that the head of state will outline a resilience plan for the economic recovery.
Wanafaangalie masilahi ya the commoner, the Wanjiku first. Stop the BBI stuff, stop the rallies, then open the economy, but now find the effective measures on how to combat the COVID-19.
Kenyatta's address, among others, will definitely touch on the quest for constitutional changes as proposed by the Building Bridges Initiative BBI report. The BBI, which is a product of the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, seeks to lead the country into a referendum in an effort to amend the 2010 constitution for the country's unity.
They should stop these BBI report things because the moment they are doing the BBI movements or whatever, you know, people, the common wananchi, of course they are being enticed to go to such big rallies. And then someone forgets that there is actually the social distancing that is needed there.
but I don't see the point of BBI when the rates of infections are on the rise. And what I think he should focus most on is enforcing that. I know I don't have a mask, but he should focus on ensuring that people are, like adhering to the COVID rules, because like when he says that people should not be in clubs by 9, then you find people in clubs after 9, or members of parliament, they are conducting rallies and he said that they should not conduct rallies. I mean, it leaves you to wonder, are you really the commander-in-chief?
Majority of Kenyans are hoping that Uhuru's State of the Nation address on Thursday will focus mostly on how to combat the coronavirus pandemic that has seen Kenya's economy disrupted and many lives affected. For Hope TV News Watch in Nairobi, I'm Alice Diana.
Let's move to COVID-19 situation in the country. Now, Kenya has recorded 1,344 new coronavirus cases in the last 24 hours after testing a sample size of 7,162. This now brings the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 64,588. 1,299 are Kenyans, while 45 are foreigners. The Ministry of Health has also announced 436 new recoveries, with 297 coming from the home-based care program, while 139 were discharged from various hospitals across the country, bringing the total number of recoveries to 43,095. Unfortunately, 24 patients have succumbed to the disease, bringing the fatality to 1,154. The ministry has also announced that to date, 2,108 healthcare workers have contracted the virus, with 1,074 being males and 1,034 being females. Sadly, 22 healthcare workers have succumbed to COVID-19 since the pandemic struck. Now, looking at the top 10 counties in today's cases, Nairobi leads with 322, followed by Kiambu County with 221. Mombasa has 133, Laikipia has 72. Uasin Gishu has 66 cases, Kericho 65, Nakuru 63, Kajiado 43, Kilifi 40, Kisumu 36. And Equity Group Foundation and the Kenya COVID-19 Fund Board have commenced the distribution of the second consignment of locally manufactured personal protective equipment, PPE, to public hospitals across the 47 counties in Kenya, including 11 universities with medical and dental schools, as part of its sustained efforts to protect medics from the COVID-19 virus. Commenting on the exercise, Dr. James Mwangi, Equity Group Managing Director and CEO, said both Equity Group Foundation and the Kenya COVID-19 Fund Board remain committed to fulfilling their promise of supporting the medical fraternity serving in public hospitals with PPEs to safeguard health workers serving on the front line in mitigating the COVID-19 pandemic.
Of all the items that I read, none of them is now imported. All of them are produced in the country and has created 4,000 jobs for Kenyans and saved foreign exchange. If you use the factor of reduction of 95, the 135 million shillings that we will be distributing today would have been more than 1 billion shillings. But you can see we're now spending 10%, creating 40 million jobs. It has helped me to understand global supply chains. They are not fair trade.
This initiative is very, very good that now the COVID-19 Fund has taken up the issue of supporting students so that they will be able to continue with their clinical work and complete their program on time and therefore graduate in a timely manner to go and serve the Kenyans.
With that story, let's take a short commercial break on News Watch. You still have more lined up for you. Keep it Hope TV.
Hope Welcome to Rafiki Gardens along Kangondo Road by Optiven. This is an ideal and affordable piece of investment that is strategically placed within the Nairobi metropolis. Rafiki Gardens is close to key social amenities like schools, banks and shopping malls. This project comes with ready title deeds, Maram roads and a marking fence round the property. Get a plot at only 695,000 Kenya shillings cash price. You can also pay a 50% deposit and pay the rest in 6 months installments. Call us today on 0702 8310 83 or visit www.optiven.co.ke.
Welcome to Activate.
It's a good morning. Good morning.
Kickstart your day with George and Kerry on the Sweet Hour of Prayer.
And welcome to Activate, this being the station where you listen and live Hope FM.
From Nairobi to the world.
Great music just for you.
Activate.
The only show that keeps you activated.
Yes, indeed.
Activate. Every weekday morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Only on Hope FM, where you listen and live.
Angry president,
yes,
a betrayed deputy president, and a burdened citizen.
The spirit of BBI, we are losing it. How do we end up with immoral people leading the moral?
Candid talk.
At the core of our being, we are spiritual.
How should the church at this particular time show leadership?
As long as God is not done with us, or He's not pleased with our repentance or our turning to Him, we may still continue suffering the consequences.
Bold approach.
Whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth is loose. Become a son. Your life and your well-being is completely dependent on God and His power.
Spotlight. Join John Cousin every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box, literally, he rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, he wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Cousin every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. You're watching Hope TV News Watch. Now, over 20 higher education institutional managers from universities in the Lake Region Economic Bloc have met in Masinde Muliro University for a national forum to prepare them for the challenges ahead now in ensuring economic sustainability in a changing higher education landscape. The 4-day training forum is set to review and inform on the current status of change project management and equip participants with knowledge in designing and handling increasing demand for university services against heavily constrained public budgets.
In March, from 2nd to 6th, and we were able to take the participant through in terms of the project they can bring in higher education in Kenya. So the participants come from about 10 universities in Lake Basin region, and they participate more in administration and also in academic programs in the institution.
All of them in the first training, we assisted them to identify the kind of projects they can do to bring change in their universities, sustainable changes in their universities.
We had a few challenges going by what is happening in the country. The challenges of COVID made us to postpone this second workshop from June to November. Secondly, engaging online with our participants has not been very easy because of challenges of internet connectivity and the like. But I should say 90% of the participants were able to engage online.
Independent candidate Charlotte Maria Makinyi has withdrawn her candidature from the Msambweni constituency by-election slated for December 15th and vowed to support ODM candidate Omar Boga. Mariam, who decamped to ODM to seek Jubilee Party candidature in the by-election, only to be disappointed after the party announced it will not field a candidate in the spirit of handshake, returned back to ODM after months of campaigning as an independent candidate. While being received by ODM party officials in Kwale, she said her meeting with her supporters concluded that the upcoming Msambweni by-election should not lead to division, hence the need to support Boga. The seat was left vacant following the death of MP Suleiman Dori, who succumbed to cancer in March this year.
Odinga amenilea mimi na amenipenda kama mtoto wake, ndiposa amenikaribisha nyumbani. Aliponipigia simu tukaongea, tumeongea mambo mengi, na mimi nikamwambia baba, kama unaweza kunikaribisha, shetani ameshindwa na ameshindwa kweli. Na hapa Msambweni tunajua there is a devil who has come to steal, to kill and to destroy. We have a common enemy ambao tunataka kumwangamiza hapa Msambweni. Tunataka wanawake wetu wa hapa Msambweni wasiangamie, vijana wetu wasiangamie, na chama kiko imara. Kama vile ulikuwa umefikiria pengine chama kina yumba, tunataka kuambia chama kiko imara, mtoto amerudi nyumbani, na hapa Msambweni wataona kivumbi. Baada ya rege kuendelea, tunataka sasa tusakate rumba. Tunamuingiza Boga bungeni na tunaendelea na kazi. Na vijana na zile sera za Shaleti zitaendelea.
Tumsapoti Mheshimiwa Boga, na kwa uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu nina imani tarehe 15 atakikalia kile kiti cha ubunge, na tuambie wapinzani wetu kazi wanayo. Wana kazi ngumu sana ya kufanya.
Following the International Orphan Sunday Day that was started in 2009 by some African churches with intentions of celebrating orphans across the globe, Christian Broadcasting Network, CBN's Operation Blessing, in partnership with Kenya Without Orphans, visited 2 children homes in Kiambu County to give them hope in life. The 2 organizations also distributed foodstuff and other basic items to Dr. Njenga and Hosea Children's Home, which faced harsh economic times triggered by the COVID-19 pandemic. Mark Kimondo reports.
Thousands of children all over Africa become orphaned for many reasons, including displacement, diseases, or poverty, among other reasons. Once in a year, there is a special day dedicated to orphans, the Orphan Day Sunday, that is majorly celebrated on 8th of November. The day is specifically used to draw attention to the plight of the world's orphans, with people encouraged to actively participate in helping raise awareness, support, and funding for orphan children around the globe. In the heart of Kiambu County lies Dr. Njenga Children's Home in Githunguri constituency. There are about 25 children here, living in this wooden shack, with most of them ranging in between 1 and 18 years. The foundation was started by one Peter Njenga before he won a green card and traveled to Canada in November 2007, leaving behind her and Jerry with the responsibility of ensuring everything is in order. The home has little financial cushion against the negative economic impact of COVID-19. Food is a challenge here, with the home surviving on the little help they get from well wishers and Njenga, who is currently abroad. Being a World Orphan Day, the Christian Broadcasting Network, CBN's Operation Blessing, in partnership with Kenya Without Orphans, have chipped in to celebrate the day with this family of children born in unity. CBN Operation Blessing and Kenya Without Orphans are among donors playing a major role in saving lives and fighting hunger during COVID-19 pandemic. The program begins with the kids watching gospel videos from the Springbok of David and Goliath, followed by a question and answers session.
Alikuwa na ushujaa, lakini ushujaa ambao alikuwa nao si juu yake.
And thereafter entertainment outside the hall.
Alafu mtu angalie. Yeah, look forward. Yeah.
The two organizations have responded swiftly to the plight of these children home and delivered food and other donations.
The only living fridge. Oh, there is another one. Oh no, it's okay.
Jacinta Kiboti is grateful to the two organizations that have stepped in to save them from the harsh economic times resulting from COVID-19 pandemic.
Kulingana na hii donation wametupatia siku ya leo itatusaidia sana sababu tutaboost usafi, alafu chakula tutaongezea chenye tuko nazo kwa store. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru Mungu sana kwa hii Sunday sababu wametukumbuka kwa njia kubwa.
The food stores were almost running empty before the organizations chipped in to solve the challenge.
Tunaweza taka mje mara mingi na mingi kama vile mtataka. The gate is always open na tunaona hapa mmetuletea chakula. Asanteni sana.
The impact of COVID-19 pandemic to children homes has been colossal, with the affordability of basic needs like food remaining a nightmare to many of them. Hosanna Children Home is located roughly 8 kilometers from Dr. Njenga Orphans Home. However, the home has a high number of people who have come to seek refuge. It supports about 41 people and 63 on outreach. CBN Operation Blessing and Kenya Without Orphans arrive here minutes after accomplishing their mission at Dr. Njenga.
And it is a day to celebrate orphans, to thank God for His children, and to commit them to God in the place of prayer.
Besides donating food, staff and other important donations to this home, the two organizations led by CBN Operation Blessing Region Coordinator preached the good news of salvation to plant hope in the hearts of these young ones.
We thank God for the time He's given us here. We thank Him for the day, and we continue committing children to Him. James 1:27 tells us true religion is taking care of orphans and widows. We thank God so much for that opportunity that we've been able to minister through the help of our partners. We've been able to minister to several families and to 2 children's home today.
It was a surprise visit, and we thank God for these blessings. They've been such a blessing to us, to our children. They've ministered to us in different ways, giving us a word from the Lord.
Rose Merengesa is the Orphan Sunday Coordinator in Kenya. She is urging people to learn how to share what they have with the needy.
And to mark the day, it can be either through celebration, it can be either through sharing a meal with the orphan child, it can be saying just prayers, or just having an orphan-related sermon.
The United Nations had warned that the COVID-19 pandemic will drive more than 250 million people to the brink of starvation unless swift action is taken to provide food and humanitarian relief to the most affected regions. The 2 children homes are appealing for help from well-wishers to assist them during these trying times resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Mark Kimondo for Hope TV.
Let's move on. The 5th African Conference on Emergency Medicine has officially been opened in a virtual ceremony that was streamed from Nairobi. The opening ceremony was graced by Dr. Mercy Mwangangi, CAS Minister of Health, and Dr. Benjamin Washira, the President of the African Federation for Emergency Medicine. The 5th African Conference on Emergency Medicine is a fully digital experience running from today, 10th November, till Thursday, 12th November 2020. It will host over 500 participants and cover a wide range of topics in the field of emergency medicine. Speaking during the opening, Dr. Mercy Mwangangi said that Kenya would fast-track the implementation of the Emergency Medical Care Policy 2020 to 2030 to address the management of the rising numbers of patients with acute communicable and non-communicable diseases.
I believe with the COVID-19 pandemic, the need to fast-track its implementation is a priority even as we head to a holiday season, which is usually occasionally associated with many road traffic accidents that test the emergency care service infrastructure. Indeed, the implementation of the policy focuses on priority areas such as investments on the EMC infrastructure, the Emergency Command and Control Centers, Ambulance and Coordination System and Dispatch Centers, information communication technology, and strengthening leadership governance at all levels.
The Coast General Teaching and Referral Hospital is in urgent need for supporting oxygen supply in the wake of the second wave of COVID-19 infections. CEO Iqbal Kandowala on Monday called on Mombasa Cement and other well-wishers and donors to help support the hospital. He spoke at the hospital while receiving the first batch of 10 wheelchairs donated by philanthropist Hasnuk Patel, the proprietor of Mombasa Cement. So far, the cement manufacturing company, through its various programs, has come in handy to support the hospital.
Well, whenever we receive a request or whenever we have our agent that works here within the hospital and he sees all the needs the hospital needs. So whenever we get a request from the hospital, we usually facilitate to the very best of our ability. Mr. Hasu has been a very big donor to this hospital. We have given a lot of wheelchairs to all different hospitals, and here we are giving them, for a start, we're giving them 10, and we're going to give them some more with the needs. We don't only donate wheelchairs here, we donate a lot of things. We pay hospital bills here on a daily basis.
And it is also appreciated that these particular wheelchairs are made by the local industry, so there is also an aspect of promotion of the local industry. On that note, Mombasa Cement has been one of our big donors, and rightly so, who has assisted us in actually not only the wheelchairs, but even our perimeter wall was built by him. And the patients that actually have any issues with regards to their bill, the inability to pay the bill, Mombasa Cement also comes in to chip in so that the hospital doesn't lose revenue. On that note, I still want to request Mombasa Cement in this era of COVID, there is an urgent need for support in oxygen supply. COVID has huge demands for oxygen. And we have requested not only Mombasa Cement, but especially Mombasa Cement to assist us with a liquid oxygen tank or an oxygen plant, which is even better, hopefully.
The judiciary has rolled out the court-annexed mediation project in 14 counties in the country. This is according to the Deputy Registrar of the Court-Annexed Mediation Secretariat, Caroline Kandagor, who said the Secretariat, in conjunction with the Court-Annexed Mediation Task Force, has embarked on the training of professional mediator to help operationalize the program with a view of expediting the dispensation of justice. Speaking during the graduation and accreditation of 42 professional mediators who had undergone a 5-day intensive training on mediation at the Malindi High Court, Kandagor said the rollout exercise was being done in a phased manner due to financial constraints.
We are having a phased rollout, so and because of the issue of the financial implication that would come with it, and again the issue of capacity building, because we do not want to have an instance where we are rolling out and we haven't done capacity building internally. We haven't looked at the issue of mediators and their capacity to be able to handle the matters in those regions. So it is a phased rollout, but in a planned manner where we are looking at where courts that have a huge backlog, courts that have a slight, maybe we'd call it more of a long turnaround time for cases to be heard and determined. And we're also rolling out mediation on a criteria
for courts where we feel like our satisfaction index, customer satisfaction index is low, because we'd like to boost and improve it with the experience that they get from mediation.
Katiba inasema kesi ile ambao haki kuchelewesha haki ni kudhulumu mwananchi kwa kusema kwa ufupi. Na kwa hivyo ikawa ni njia gani tunaweza kushikana pamoja kama sisi mahakama na wataalamu wengine kusuluhisha sana kuchelewesha kwa makesi miaka 2, miaka 3, miaka 5, na saa nyingine haki watu wanaona itendeki kama kesi inachelewa mahakamani. So sana matumuni yetu sana ni kuhusisha wananchi na kuhusisha wananchi kwa njia hii ya mediation, njia moja ya kutaka kutenda haki, na hiyo kutenda haki bila gharama kubwa, bila kungoja kwa muda mrefu, bila geni wakiamua wao wenyewe wanasema ile uamuzi ambao umetoka kwa ile mediation, ile mazungumzo, ile uwiano inakuwa sasa ni uamuzi wao, na inaleta kitu tunaita complete conflict settlement.
The National Assembly Special Funds Accounts Committee has raised concern over the 10 billion shillings Sioi Muruni Dam water project in West Pokot County, whose construction is stalled despite the contractor being paid half of the project's amount. According to the committee, the contractor abandoned the project in March 2019 after it was launched in 2015 and was expected to take 36 months to complete. Speaking in the Kapsait area during a 3-day inspection tour of projects funded by the Equalization Fund, the committee, led by the chairman, William Chepkut, has called on the principal secretary in the Ministry of Water to provide a status report on the project.
This committee deals with the audit and ones of a special of equalization funds. In this audit of equalization funds, one of the projects that we found having been allocated 100 million from the equalization fund is the Sioi Muruni Dam. And this is a government-funded project that it has two components. In Lot 1, it is the dam component, which is estimated to cost 5.05 billion. And then you have the distribution component, which is costing 4.1 billion.
Fund ya kusawazisha sehemu ambazo zimebaki nyuma tangia miaka ya nyuma, ile ambayo wazungu wanaita historical injustices, kwa ajili ya maendeleo. Sheria ambayo ilitungwa mwaka 2010 Constitution ilitenga kitengo kinachoitwa Equalization Fund. Madhumuni yake ni kuleta katika kuinua sehemu zile ambazo zimekuwa zimewachwa nyuma kama West Pokot na na sehemu zingine za kame ambazo zimewachwa nyuma miaka nyingi, kwa ajili ya kuwainua waweze kufikia. Na mojawapo ya kazi ambazo zinatakana kufanyika pale ni kuhakikisha maji yamefikia wananchi.
Now, following a spate of suicides, teenage pregnancies and drug abuse among the youths, religious leaders have launched a campaign to spiritually nourish the youths against the vices. The Nyandarua Interfaith Council has rolled out a program that will ensure that more than 300 youths in Kazi Mtaani program are well grounded in spiritual matters as a way of cultivating morality among them. Bishop Joseph Kariuki has regretted that hopelessness among the youths who mainly have no formal employment has led many to committing suicide and engaging in wayward behaviors.
Nimekuwa nikifanya hii kazi mtaani na imetusaidia sana. Kwanza vijana tumepata wakati mwingi hatujakuwa ukipotea, na imetusaidia sana katika pesa. Tutegemei wazazi hivyo sana.
Shukuru serikali yetu ya Uhuru Kenyatta kwa hii kazi mtaani wametupea juu, imetusaidia. Imekuwa muhimu kwa mafamilia zetu, kwa tena sana kwa vijana. Tunashukuru na tunasema kama wangetupea muda ingine tungeshukuru pia.
Kwanza wengine walikuwa wamepotelelea katika pombe, lakini sasa imetusaidia. Kwa hivyo tunashukuru serikali yetu kwa hii nafasi imetupea, na tunaweza omba hii kazi tunamaliza Januari, wanaweza tuongezea muda wa kuendelea na hii kazi.
Youths hapa kwetu tumekuwa na changamoto ambazo zimekuwa zikitusukuma
vijana wamekuwa wakilegea katika kazi, wengine wanaingia katika ndawa za kulevya, wengine wanalegea mpaka wanafika mahali ya kujitoa uhai na mengineo. Lakini haya yote tumeonelea tuweze kuingiana katika mpango huu wa serikali ambao umeanza wa kazi kwa vijana.
Wakati tunaponena na hawa vijana, tunajua kwamba vijana wengi wanakuwa na frustrations katika maisha. Wengine kwa sababu amemaliza kazi, amekosa shule. So tumekuwa tunanena na wao kwa encourage katika maisha, ili mambo kama mambo ya suicide, mambo ya kujiua, kwa sababu tumeona vijana wengi wanafika wakati wanajiua kwa sababu wanafika wakati wana lose hope kwa maisha. So tunaongea na wao, tunawapatia tumaini na tunaonyesha licha yale mambo ambayo wanapitia.
Looking at what is happening internationally as political temperatures continue to rise in Tanzania, the leader of opposition in the country, Tundu Lissu, has now fled to Europe amid tensions and reports of crackdowns on government critics days after President John Magufuli was sworn in for a second term in office. In a video clip on his Twitter handle, the opposition leader can be seen leaving for the airport accompanied by officials from the German embassy in Tanzania. The German embassy has been hosting the opposition leader for some days after he claimed his life is in danger. Lissu returned from exile in July this year, where he launched campaigns to unseat Magufuli. Lissu rejected the outcome of the October 28th general election that saw Magufuli retain his presidency. A section of opposition leaders, including Lissu, were arrested after threatening to stage demonstrations to compel the government to disband the National Electoral Commission to pave way for fresh elections. And to some sports news now. Harambee Stars head coach Jacob Gos-Mulee has exuded utmost confidence in Harambee Stars' squad capability to attain positive result in the first leg match of their double-header against Comoro. This as the team entered its final day of training today ahead of tomorrow's match to be staged at the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani. Our reporter Joseph Maingi has more.
The Harambee Stars head coach has pointed out that despite the COVID-19 restrictions, training has been good and he hopes to secure a 3-point win against Comoros.
There's a mission ahead. We knew this fixture before. It's just that we know the situation about COVID where everything has changed. It's the new norm that we have to live with. However, looking at the days that we've had a full house training, it doesn't look that bad.
On his part, Harambee Stars goalkeeper Arnold Origi has also displayed a show of confidence in his teammate capacity to attain a good result in a dual-die match tomorrow.
Like any other fan, I would love to see this country or the national team of Kenya do well. Not only qualify and participate, but compete at the African Cup of Nations, at the World Cup. So yeah, I have huge expectation on myself, and as well I am aware that at this point in my career at the national team right now, I'm not the person who'll be looking around to see who can do the job. I know I'm the one people will be looking at to do the job if we're gonna make it, or if we're gonna achieve our goals.
Out of all players initially called up, have checked up into the camp, save for Zambia's trio comprising of Ian Otieno, John Mark Makwata and David Owino, who arrive in the country this evening due to a delay in their flights. The Comoros national team, Les Cocarantes, jetted in the country this morning and had a feel of the field of play this evening. The match has been scheduled for tomorrow at the Moi International Sports Centre, Kasarani, starting at 7 p.m. under floodlights and closed door. To some English update, and Jude Bellingham has been called up to the English squad for the first time following the withdrawal of James Ward-Prowse and Trent Alexander-Arnold through injuries. The 17-year-old midfielder was originally included in the under-21 squad but will now link up with the senior team ahead of their games against the Republic of Ireland, Belgium and Ireland. Bellingham has impressed since making a summer switch from Birmingham City to Borussia Dortmund, featuring in 10 matches and scoring 1 goal. During his debut season with Birmingham, Bellingham became a linchpin of his boyhood club midfield and featured in 44 games, scoring 4 goals. Despite being without the services of Ward Postle and Alexander Arnold, England manager Gareth Southgate is hopeful that he will be able to call up Marco Rashford. The striker is scheduled to report duty on Thursday to allow further assessment on the injury he sustained in Manchester United 3-1 victory over Everton last Saturday. With us, your sports, do have a blessed evening. I'm Joseph Maingi.
And that report wraps up our bulletin tonight. So many thanks for staying with us. My name is Tonny Omondi and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murithi. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good night.